Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to make an announcement that we will begin promptly at 9:45, and we are expecting quite a large group of you, which is really exciting. So as you see people coming in, if they're looking for a table and you have space at yours, it can be hard to see from the perimeter here. So let's all be helpful to one another and wave them over if you've got space. That would be much appreciated. So we'll get started in just under 10 minutes here. Please help yourself to breakfast. Visit our friends over at Alumni and the Minnesota Medical Association. The Alumni office has some fun swag to give away. So again, we'll get started in a few minutes. Thank you. Good morning. We'd love for everyone to take their seats. Again, if you have free space at your tables and you see folks arrive searching for a table, please be kind to them and wave them over. I do want to acknowledge that there's a water feature over here, so if you're walking along this perimeter, please be careful. And we're so glad to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for responding back. It's a great morning. It's a really nice to see the hall packed. There's going to be a nice tradition of a little catharsis and then evolution, like a Greek tragedy. They usually ended up okay. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Welcome. My name is Jacob Tolar. I had the honor and privilege to serve you as your Dean of the Medical School and Vice President for Clinical Affairs. My day job is bone marrow transplant. I have been in your shoes about 25 years ago. Equally nail-biting moment, equally gastric reflux-inducing moment. You know how to treat all of that already. But of course it's emotional. Of course it is one of these tipping points, one of these transition events, one of these memorable moments. And I'll speak not very long. Not that it helps you much with the waiting till 11, but we are here for you, and we are here to celebrate and support you through all of this. So the first thing that you should do, and I'm sure you've done this, look around. This is your team. These are the people that supported you to get here in the first place. The strength of that is irreplaceable. Trust me. The people you are seeing as your classmates will be your A-team for decades to come. You will cross the country, you will cross the specialties, you will have ups and downs in your professional and personal lives, and you will, hello. I always like this. I'm a pediatrician, so I have a good rapport with that age group. Now, you will always, hi. What's his name, please? Hi, Mari. He's paying most attention to me. That's good. And these people will be the group that you will be coming back to in memories and in sort of projected memories as well, which for all of us that chosen medicine, and I'm deeply grateful that you did that, because we all do our own soul searching. We all do our random walk through different institutions, different places, and end up somewhere. What is remarkable is that you all have chosen medicine. And I am one of the people who really think that there is hardly any better way of apply our life to a field and really answer the question, what are the circumstances calling us to do? How we can contribute something, hopefully to the people who brought us here, and how can we really have substance and an ability to live the life in full. So regardless of what happens, that envelope is really important. I get that. There are some institutions that you wanted, there are some that you didn't want as much. Whatever happens, it actually matters much less than it may seem. It's important. It's a sort of step in a direction. But I and many others like me have essentially gotten to this place by walking through the open doors that somebody else opened for us, and we didn't know what are they going to be, really. So living your personal and professional life in full in whatever you have chosen is really what matters. What matters is what you will carry inside to wherever you go. What matters is how you relate to your patients and to your colleagues. What matters is whether you are going to be able, like some of the best physicians that I have ever known, learn to live your life from your patients. That's an incredible force in my experience, and I think that you are at a position to encapsulate this and to really be the messenger, the ambassador of that goodwill and that full heart and full soul that can help healing, not in just medical, surgical, pharmaceutical, other ways, but really, in many other ones as well. I'd like to thank you for being a team that went through COVID. This week, it is 4 years when the whole global emergency was declared. And all of us have taken some parts of it from it. I have been floored by the passion, speechless really, of some of you who were the COVID sitters, for example. Some of people who reached out to me to say, I really want to do something. It doesn't really matter what, as long as I help. And then we were settled with this dark horse of history, which COVID was, because 30 million people died globally. The life expectancy globally decreased by 1.6 years for the epidemic itself. And yet I would say that we have learned things from it that we are going to carry with us. And not just the hybrid and flexible work style and whatever, but really how can we put ourselves between the problem and the people who suffer. And that is, in my opinion, one of the greatest lessons that your class, this medical school, this practice, and we collectively will take with us together. So, you want to ask me anything? Thank you, everyone. Good luck today. You are the best.
Good morning. I'm Mark Rosenberg. I'm the Vice Dean for Education and Academic Affairs for the medical school. It's always challenging to follow Dean Toller, who speaks so eloquently and always without a script. Thank you, Dean Toller, for all you do to successfully lead the medical school. Students, congratulations on getting to this point of your medical careers. You have achieved much and you are a success no matter what happens today. I want to express my gratitude to all of you. You have helped us continue to improve as a medical school to make your learning and experience better for both yourselves, but for those who follow you. Also, thank you for the care and compassion you have demonstrated to the patients you have cared for during medical school. You are in a position to make a difference in people's lives as you transition into residency and beyond. As Dean Toller stated, what you've been through has not been easy. Learning the field of medicine, learning how to critically think like a physician, living up to the professional expectations of being a future physician, advocating for your ideas and beliefs, and attending medical school during the COVID pandemic, and so much more. Matching into residency is the next step in this journey to becoming a competent and compassionate physician. I am confident that no matter what is in these envelopes, you will adapt and be successful. But most of all, I want you all to know how very proud we are of all of you. Let me tell you two personal match stories. I didn't experience a match. I grew up in Canada and went to the University of Manitoba Medical School, what we call the U of M. I did a rotating internship there, which was the next step in the medical system I was in. And I decided to look for residency and was always attracted to internal medicine. I knew someone here in the Twin Cities, which was my criteria for looking here, and got an interview. I don't remember ever doing an ARIS application. I came here, I had a great day. I loved the medical school and still do, and loved the program, and wrote to the program director to tell him that. He told me I would have to wait the results of the match. And I asked, what's the match? He explained it to me, and I promptly phoned up the match people and said I want to register for the match, and they told me I was months too late. You know, I called the program, thanked them, and figured I would have to look for a residency program back in Canada. But several weeks later, I received a letter stating they accepted me outside the match, which you could do back then. It's illegal now. And then I was given a start date and started residency, and this was 43 years ago, and I've been here ever since. By the way, I was 10 when all of this happened. So part of me is sad I could not go through the match, and I'm envious of you, but a much larger part is glad I didn't have to endure the suspense you're all feeling now. The second story is a more recent one, and right now I'm speaking to the family and friends who have gathered to support you on this day. You know, in 2021, I experienced the match as a dad and a future father-in-law, and I understand on a very personal level what you're going through, and I empathize with all of you. So let me close by again congratulating you on your success. No matter what happens today, I think you're on the path for one of the greatest adventures of your lives. Keep working on your dream. Thank you.
Check, check, check. Nice. Wow. Hello, everybody. Good morning, guys. I don't know who thought this would be a good idea to let us go and practice in a few months, but thank you for believing in us. We also have some people joining us virtually. Do you think we can pull them up, maybe? Nice. Just wait for the people. Woo! Thank you. You know, even though you guys are not here with us in person, we're all in this together, and we're all thinking of you. And we're going to get through this one way or another. It's also nice to see some celebrities in the house. Jiva, did you pick up on some of those celebrities today?
Oh man, I mean, I see my girlfriend out there, but
No, I see two good-looking men right there. Twin MD. Woo! For those of you that don't know, Malik and Devante started up a YouTube channel called Twin MD. Spoiler alert, failed. No, but on a more serious note, I'm just honestly so proud of everyone here. Who would have thought that 4 years later we'd all get through this together and be at this stage? So just give it up for all of us, guys. Congratulations.
man, I remember the beginning of medical school 4 years ago like it was yesterday. And you guys remember what everyone said right when we started medical school? It was like drinking out of a fire hose, right? Well, I heard something new about residency. You know what they say about residency? They say it's like drinking out of a keg. The further you go, the worse your mental state gets.
I heard that too. Speaking of which, we're all going to Sally's after, and we'll test that mental state, okay, guys?
Sally Saloon, right down the street. Anyway, guys, we really wanted to start out the ceremony by showing some gratitude for all of the people that have been in our corner the whole time. And who better than the stepping stones for our medical education, our preclinical course leaders. So, from Jimmy Fallon, he's taught us a lot. We wanted to sit here and write some thank you notes to some people on stage today. Nazar, who do you want to thank first?
That's a great idea. You know, I think can't thank anyone before we thank the great Dr. Sobek and Dr. Hirsch in our SMP class for really giving us that experience of mass panic letting us know that medical school does not start unless you fail that first exam.
Woo! Good times. That was a low number.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of want to thank Dr. Southern. He was our microbiology professor, and I really want to thank him for giving us that extra hour to sleep in every day during his lecture.
So great. I love Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The best. Do we have any Duluth people in here? Make some noise. Woo! You know, our friends in Duluth wanted us to thank the Maroon Lab for doing all that grunt work for gold and anatomy. I heard Maroon has the real surgeons anyways, huh?
Oh, dude, speaking of anatomy, anybody want to thank Dr. Winehouse for us? Dr. Winehouse, thank you so much for only scaring us with that plague doctor costume once.
I swear to God, I still have nightmares about that. Can't believe he thought that was okay. I'd also like to thank the university. Thank you for taking our tuition dollars for classes like pharmacology, where we just turn around and pay sketchy.com to pass those exams.
You know, I also want to thank the university on behalf of our Duluth colleagues, because I heard they just printed out pictures of Usher and put them all over the campus instead of bringing in the real Usher.
Could have had a Super Bowl. Could have had a Super Bowl.
They?
I'd like to thank Dr. Powell and Dr. Crossan. Remember them, histology professors? They really made us question if pink and purple were different colors. That was strange.
Ugh. You know, I see Dr. Kim standing there in the back. I really want to thank Dr. Kim over there. You know, I want to thank you, Dr. Kim, for always making us jealous with your hair, but never sharing your hair care routine.
Come on, Dr. Kim, it's so lush. Let us know. I think finally, we have to end by thanking Dr. Kaz Nelson for teaching us that it's okay to yell at patients if it's in the name of the great Minnesota art.
Yell with them, yell with them.
My fault, you're right.
All right, guys, that's our opening bit. With that, we want to introduce somebody who did his best never to yell at any patients or students, but who knows if he succeeded. He was voted to speak here not only because he's an incredible teacher and mentor, but also because he is an incredible member of the band Wish. Please give it up to Dr. Deebull.
Good morning. I used to keep that a secret, that band. But unfortunately, what happened during the pandemic is that Seth, up in Duluth, ended up renting the apartment that I used to live in Duluth, and ended up with some band pictures of mine sent to his apartment randomly by an old friend that didn't know that I moved like 6 years ago. So yes, I am from the band Wish, a long time ago in a different lifetime. And so I'm Kevin Deebull, and I have a PhD. And this is becoming strangely important here in just a couple minutes. Because I've come down to these match day events for several years now, and I've learned so much about match day and the wonderful event that it is, and everything that everybody does to get through match, and the excitement of the day, and what it is to be that MD kind of on the precipice to make that next step. And what people don't know a lot about is PhD match day. So I'm going to give back and let you know a little bit about what PhD match day is like for the PhDs out there. So it starts like this. You're in the lab, and you're stuck at your desk because Doug, every lab has a Doug. Doug, at 12:57, decided to go use the centrifuge to do an RNA prep, which is weird, but not weird for Doug, because Doug does this every day. You're like, hey, Doug, how you doing? What's going on? What are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing some RNA preps at 1. So at 12:57, Doug's at the centrifuge using the centrifuge for you. And, so it happens all the time. If you're going to run a gel, he's using the gel apparatus. If you want to use the autoclave, Doug's using the autoclave, and then it's out of order, Doug, and you can't even use it that day. And so then, you're stuck at your desk, and so you get an email. And it's an email letting you know that after months and months of interviewing to try to get, your perfect postdoc, you finally got one, and you want to go share it with anybody that might be present. And so you're so excited, and you're looking up, and the only thing you can see is Doug. And so you're like scrambling around, like trying to find any friend at all. You got a friend in the tissue culture hood, you can't talk to them. Some other grad students are just walking out, you can't get a hold of them. You want to maybe go tell your PI, but you never met them, you don't know what they look like. So It's like, so you're just stuck, and so you go back and you just stand next to Doug. And Doug's busy doing all the things molecular biologists do all day long for hours at a time, writing as small as possible on little tiny plastic tubes. Hours. It's just a strategy to make sure we stay in grad school for as long as possible because we're afraid to get a real job. So we just write on the test tubes, and then we stick them in ice buckets, and it makes the ink fall off, so you have to go back and write on the test tubes again. You can do that for hours every day. And so I'm standing next to Doug, and Doug is feeling, a little upset that I'm standing there. Because he knows I told him I was going to use the centrifuge at 1 o'clock that day. So he takes out his headphones, and he looks up at me, and I'm like, hey, Doug, I finally did it. I matched into my perfect postdoc. This is amazing. I'm so excited. And he looks at me, and he puts his headphones back in, and he just starts writing on his test tubes again. That is literally PhD match day. I don't know. It's not like this. This is amazing. Seriously, this is really cool. You guys should be so proud of yourself. Seriously, hand of applause for yourself. You did it. You got here, and this is a fantastic event. And then later you're going to go to Sally's, I guess, and you're going to be able to tell somebody hey, I don't know you, but I just matched into surgery. This is amazing. And they're going to be excited, and they're going to be like, oh, man, what's that like? What is that going to be like? Instantly, new friend. After PhD match day, 3 months later, when you finally leave the lab, you go out, and you go to a party, you meet somebody new, and they ask you, so what do you do? And you're like, I'm a molecular biologist. Panic just sets in. The eyes dart around. They're like, how can I get out of here? Can I move back through this wall and into the other room? And so you see that, and you're like, no, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. I discovered these RNA polymerase III type 2 promoters like you wouldn't imagine. It's amazing. And then that doesn't go anywhere. And then they're like, no, it's like a tRNA, microRNA. That doesn't go anywhere. And it's like, well, but a virus made it. Finally, whew, all right, people like viruses. They like learning about viruses. So you got them for a second. You can talk to them just for a moment about viruses. And then inevitably, it comes up, oh yeah, what virus did you study? Herpes. And they look at you like, what is going on? And it's like, yeah, no, I studied herpes. And it's like, well, so how does that work? It's like, well, you don't have to get herpes to study herpes. And so you're trying to explain this whole process, and then you're like, well, and it doesn't even matter. It's like, it's mouse herpes. And then they're gone. And it's not going to be like your experience today at Sally's is going to be fantastic. But in all seriousness, it is such an honor and a pleasure to be here today. It's so amazing to see everybody here this morning. Thank you so much for the invitation. I hope that all your dreams come true in just a little while and that you have a fantastic morning and afternoon. And I'm very proud of you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right, everyone, one more big round of applause for Dr. Deebull. Next, we wanted to talk about feedback. Feedback is something that's super crucial to everything, but especially to medical education. And you know what, Nazar? I think that you really nailed it with those EPAs, dude.
I think so too. Great stuff.
But what did EPAs stand for again? I don't remember.
I think it was easily piss off attendings. I think that's what it was.
I think that's close, but I think it was extra passive aggressive.
Oh, wait, no, that doesn't sound right either. It was enjoy passing almost?
Yep, that was the one.
Yep.
Congratulations on everybody for, almost passing. I think EPAs were great.
Well, since we're all going to be residents real soon, and we're going to have our own medical students that are going to be following us around, badgering us to do these, figured it's going to be important to pick up on what's good feedback and what's not. So with that being said, we're going to put up some examples of some feedback that, we're going to need you to tell us, is it real or is it not? All right?
So this is the crowd engagement session, everyone. First bit of feedback that might be real or not. This is what went well. Great job, great job. Areas of improvement, we talked about it. Now go on, guys, tell me, is this real or is this not real? All right, most people think it's real. Thank you, Dr. Dolan from Emergency Medicine.
You gotta love it. It doesn't get as much more constructive than this right here. Great job, Jiva.
Thank you.
Great job. All right, next up. Areas of improvement. Just needs more practice with getting numbers. What do you guys think? Real or not real? Real? Nah, I'm coming for you guys. All right. Yep, real. I don't know, but me and Dr. Jensen seem to have some beef. She thinks I need help getting numbers.
Nazar's putting up rookie numbers, that's all. All right, next one. Is this one real? Area of improvement, have the ability to sign orders. Real or not real, guys? Unfortunately, this one was also real. I guess it'll just take me a few years to get there, but thank you for that.
You gotta love it when feedback is something you literally cannot do. It's great stuff. Thank you. All right, next up. Don't get details of patients mixed up. Seems valid. What do you guys think? Real or not real? Mixed. All right. Nope, it was real. Believe it or not, we got that feedback.
Guys, there were just 3 old Kevins in a row at the VA. Come on, cut me some slack.
Gotta do a better job. We gotta do a better job.
All right, here's a good one. Area of improvement, don't take things personally. What do you guys think, real or not real? I think we have to ask Nazar who got this feedback.
Ouch, I don't know. Well, I guess it is what it is. All right, I think this might be our last one here.
No, it's not.
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Student excel during this clinical rotation. They will succeed in any specialty of their choosing.
Real or not real?
Real. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
It's fake!
Yeah. Unfortunately, yep, that's what it is.
Man, now that you guys have seen all these real examples, I hope you guys do a lot better job as residents writing even more constructive and valuable feedback, like these real examples that Nazar and I received on our clerkships.
Except the last one, sadly.
It's fake.
All right, well, our next speaker has given much better pearls of feedback over the years, including that a patient's feet are the window to the body. She's also known to be kind, patient, and overflowing with joy. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Dr. Gringer. Would you rather a microphone?
Sure, yes, that will be good. I have started the timer so I don't take too much time speaking. Feel free to stop me. The first thing I want to say is just it's such an honor to be here with you all today. I'm so excited to see the people that I know and the people that I don't know, because I remember my match day really well and how special it was. I remember sitting there with my partner and opening up the envelope and hugging my family and friends afterward. Do not remember any of the speeches, but I want to say that's completely valid. I had other things on my mind at that point in time. And so if you don't remember this, more power to you. That is excellent. So I was trying to think about some words that kind of bring up the idea of match for me. And the one that I kind of kept on coming up with over and over again was this idea of uncertainty. And I just want to take a minute to acknowledge how hard that is and how challenging that is to hold. I know that this is not your first rodeo with uncertainty at all. You've been dealing with it all for years. You all have been in medical school during the COVID era, didn't know if your classes were going to be in person or not, didn't know if things were going to get switched up. Your professors didn't know either, but we all got through it together, right? You've also had to deal with uncertainty in terms of trying to remember what bit of arcane knowledge this professor would put on that test or that professor would put on that test, or the uncertainty of presenting to an attending who each want something completely different than what you did last time, and maybe different than what you did last week with the same attending, right? They all want different things. You've had to deal with the uncertainty of that. So I know it's not your first rodeo. I know that you have been preparing for this for a while, but I just want to acknowledge the challenge that it is. And as strange as this may sound, I want you to kind of bottle up this feeling and remember what this feels like. Because on the flip side of this, it's going to be us that are helping other people manage their uncertainty. When they come to us with an uncertain medical situation where they don't know exactly what's going on, they're in that uncertain situation. And I want you to take out all the compassion that you have for yourself for having to put up with the last 6 months of this stuff. And I want you to unleash it on your patients in the future as they deal with this. And there are some things that kind of can make it better. And so the first thing I want to say is just kind of this idea of story, that the stories that we tell ourselves around the situation are just as important as the situation itself in how you perceive it. So microbiologists do not have the lock on uncomfortable party conversations. Some of you may or may not know, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I'm going to say it, but I'm going to just say it. I'm a hospice doctor. Not the thing to say at parties. Not at all. So when you say it, their face freezes, and they look at you and they say, "Oh, bless your heart." And then they find somebody else to talk to, right? They would like to get out of that situation. Again, valid for a variety of reasons. But I was thinking about that, and I was thinking that that's probably because the story that they tell about my job is different than the story that I tell about my job, right? So they probably look at it and they say, you deal with pain and suffering and tragedy, and I'm not going to say that that's not true. But when I look at my job, I see that I get to meet the most amazing people that are holding uncertainty and challenge. And I get to see them and support them in that. And that is good and magnificent work. And I see that I'm running to make it better. I'm not running to make it worse. And that's my intention. And that is good work. And I see that I get to do it with the most amazing group of people that I've ever met in my life. The nurses, the pharmacists, the chaplains, bereavement people, my partners, they are all fantastic. I don't know about me, but they are all wonderful. And it is just such a privilege to get to work with them. And so I think there's lots of stories that you could tell about match day and all of that. But the story that I hope you tell yourself is that all of those envelopes are an offer in recognition of you being the amazing, wonderful people they are. They're people that are excited to work with you because you're fantastic. And it's your opportunity to get to do challenging, hard, and fundamentally amazing work with some of the most amazing people that you will ever meet in your life. So I'm very excited about you for that. The last thing I wanted to say is that I remember going into residency, and I think at times I felt very alone. And I wasn't. That's the punchline. I was not alone, but I felt alone, right? So I remember getting called. I started on night float. For those of you who don't know, night float is when they put some poor intern who just graduated 3 weeks ago on call at the hospital in the middle of the night, and they're kind of their first line. That's the first person that they call. So they call me up, and they're like, "Hey, can you come?" I'm like, "This is Amy. I mean, Dr. Gringer. I mean, Amy, I don't really know who I am, but I'm coming. I'm coming, right?" So it was hard for me to even say I was doctor, and I remember going and seeing this patient in the ICU who had a change of status. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And so because I felt so alone, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I just graduated 3 weeks ago. What do I have to do for this patient? So I started talking my way through it. God bless the nurse who was there with me in the middle of the night. And I said, "I think we should get some imaging," and she nodded for me. She was like, "Yeah." And maybe some labs, and she nodded again. She's like what? I'm like, oh, a basic metabolic panel. She's like, and? I'm like, an ABG? She's like, yes, yes, yes. And then I said, and maybe I should call my senior resident. And she nodded vigorously for that, right? So even though I felt really alone in that moment, I wasn't. I had the nurse there with me. I had my senior resident who ultimately was there with me. The attending was on the end of the phone there with us. And so when you go into your rooms, I want to kind of look at this room and who is here as a representation, because even though you feel like you might be alone, you're not. So the people that I see here, I see faculty and staff and administration people, folks here, and I want all the students to know that whether or not it feels like it, whether or not it feels like we tortured you over the last 4 years, you do carry pieces of us in there with all of you, and you have pieces of us, and you are the best of us as you walk into those rooms. I also see friends and family and loved ones, and I want you to know these are an amazing part of you that you carry in the room when you're going in to see patients, right? Those are your ride or die, the people who love you regardless if you have MD after your name or not. And even though it feels like you're alone, you are carrying that into the room with you as well. And last, I want you to kind of look at this room and see all the amazing medical students that are here in this room as well. And our colleagues are our source of support and help and aid when we're having problems, right? There is always somebody to call. There's always somebody to debrief with. There's always a colleague who's there to help you, and I want you to remember that as you go into the room. So I think, I'm looking at the time, we are at 10:20, so that's 39 minutes until match. And I just wish you all the very best of luck. I hope you get the first choice in your envelope, but if you don't, I hope you remember you're not alone. The story you tell is important, and you are amazing for dealing with all this uncertainty. Thank you so much.
Woo! Give it up for Dr. Gringer, everybody! You know, and I just want to say something really quickly. It just dawned upon me, and my parents sent me a message too. They're watching from across the world, and I just want to say thank you, wherever the cameras are, to you for your support. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here today, so thank you guys. Yeah, so as Dr. Gringer said, 39 minutes. Thank you for reminding us. It's getting close to that time. Is anyone feeling stressed? Show of hands. Ooh. All right, Ativan, Xanax, SSRI. Talk to me after this, all right? We'll get your prescriptions.
And that's our cash source for later, so.
We're gonna be living good.
Well, guys, I think for all of our family and friends here and loved ones, it can be kind of hard to get a sense of what all of these weird, different specialties do. So Nazar and I, as your ever-loving guides through this process, want to give you all an overview, a reliable overview of what each specialty does. I kind of want to start with emergency medicine.
It's a good place to start.
My emergency medicine doctors. So these are the doctors that go 80 miles per hour in a 40 just so they can feel something again. They're also the most likely to have stopped paying attention after my first 3 words.
That was my experience, and clearly yours too from that feedback you got. Great job, Deebull.
Great job. Great job.
Next up, we got to talk about family medicine, right? Front line. These are the, yeah, give it up. Show some love, woo!
Couple of them.
So these are the doctors that you're going to see in clinic. They know everything about you. They even know your cousin's dog's name. And they're also most likely to prescribe you that hearty dose of, let's just wait and see.
Man, I want to talk about radiology. Do we have any radiologists in the building? Oh, quiet group. Well, these are the doctors that always played video games in the basement during their family get-togethers, and then figured out how to do that for a job. They're also the most likely to have a vitamin D deficiency.
Those dark rooms. Got
Dark
him looking like
rooms.
Batman in those caves.
I've seen Nico.
Let's talk about neurology, huh? Yep. Oh, yeah. There you go. Neurologists. These are those doctors that come into your room, tickle your feet, hit your knee with a hammer, and call it medicine. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Those are doctors that are walking around looking like Inspector Gadget with all the tools around their waistline walking in the hospital.
Man, you don't have a good reflex hammer that's branded from AAN?
Don't, unfortunately.
Oh.
That's why I'm not a neurologist.
Not a neurologist. Any pediatricians here? Oh, my pediatrics folks. You guys are always going to be the doctors who call everyone champ, buddy, or kiddo. Woo! You're also the most likely to rank each other based off of how many Paw Patrol characters you can name. I can't name
Do you know
one.
any?
Bluey. Bluey.
If you say so, Jiva. All right, next up, let's talk about internal medicine.
Woo! Where are my internists? Yeah.
So typically, these are going to be the best-looking, smartest doctors in probably any hospital that you walk in.
Oh my God, that totally checks out.
Wait, you're going IM, right?
Me? Oh yeah, I am. Aren't you going IM too?
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
makes sense. Oh. Man, I want to throw a word to my surgeons. We're just going to talk about you in general because, your egos are big enough as is. Surgeons, these are the doctors in the hospital who would have had a great alternate career as chefs instead, because they're really good at cutting and yelling and doing both at the same time.
I've been yelled at by many surgeons. And last but not least, let's talk about pathologists.
Woo!
So these are the doctors that, has anyone actually seen a pathologist before? I haven't. Have you?
Couldn't tell you. No.
Don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we now want to introduce our third speaker of the day. Coming up next, we have a doc who was picked for not only his glorious beard that only keeps growing the longer we know him, but also for his dedication to the students that he mentors. Not only does he provide support, mentorship, and advice to everybody, he also has become a good friend of a lot of our students here. Let's welcome to the stage, everyone, Dr. Muala. Woo!
It's not a great start. Thank you all so much for inviting me to be here today. Match Day is my favorite day. I graduated from this medical school in 2008. I worked here, I did my residency here in internal medicine and pediatrics, and I worked here at the university for about 10 years, and I currently am a hospitalist at Hennepin Healthcare. And I have had the joy and the privilege of being a course director for the Twin Cities students. I was a course director for a course up in Duluth. I've advised many students. I've worked with many of the students that are in this room. And I remember I was sitting at that table. I walked all the way around the room before we started, and I sat at that table for my match day. But I love match day. It's my favorite day of medical school because more than the white coat ceremony, more than commencement, this day is steeped in history and meaning and in purpose, all of which are so important to the careers that you are undertaking. I love history. For those of you who know me, I love history because history helps us understand how we got here. It helps us understand this very moment, and then it helps us consider and think about how we want to shape the future. And that's what today is about. All the people in this room shaped their future. All of the people in this room contributed to the students' future, contributed to their present, and certainly contributed to their past. And in 25 minutes or so, we'll be focused on the future. But for a few minutes, I just want to turn our attention to the past for a little bit. Dean Tolar, a couple of our faculty who talked a little bit about what it was like to be a faculty member, a dean, during the COVID pandemic when you all started. I remember, I look back actually at my calendar in preparation for this speech. I was a hospitalist, so I did inpatient care of people who were sick mostly with COVID during that spring, summer, and fall. And I worked 10 out of 12 weeks in the spring and summer. I worked countless hours. I had a 1-year-old at home. My wife was expecting at the time, and I was scared. I was scared the moment that you all stepped onto campus in July or August of 2020. I was a course director of the clinical skills course for the Twin Cities students, and I spent more time that summer thinking about how to keep you all safe than how to teach you a physical exam. I had countless meetings with Dean Rosenberg. I remember he was pulling PPE out of the trunk of his car and bringing it up to the old Mayo building to figure out how we could make sure that you all had what you needed to be safe. And we didn't know what that would mean for your all's training, the isolation, the separation. You all began medical school in a moment wholly unique than any other generation of physicians ever. I started medical school 20 years ago, and in those 2 decades, nothing like that has ever been seen or thought of. You also started medical school in the fall of 2020. I live in Minneapolis, Twin Cities campus, and even on the Duluth campus. The killing of George Floyd and the uprising in Minneapolis impacted every day how we thought about and framed what should your medical school experience be. What does it mean to center voices and communities that have historically been ignored or pushed aside or not thought of by medical schools, by medicine, by communities and societies for years and years over? You saw us make choices to keep you safe from COVID. You saw us make choices to try to do things different or better when it comes to injustice in medical education. And you saw us make choices that got things right. And you saw us make choices that sometimes didn't get things right. You saw us struggle and work side by side, and we had the joy and privilege of being able to do that with you all together. And we're at this beautiful inflection point. You are at this beautiful inflection point in your careers, in your lives. You saw how the old ways of doing didn't work. And you were part of, for good or for bad, you were part of the new ways of doing. How can we create new ways of caring for, educating, mentoring, living, and being together as a physician community are things that I didn't think about when I was sitting in this room. Certainly not things I thought about when I was a first year, second year medical student. But your beginning, your past, while wholly unique, has created an opportunity to carve a new path forward. And that is something incredibly powerful. You all have worked incredibly hard to be here. You all have had the support of friends, family, some of who are here in this room, some who are watching, some of who are just thinking about you right now. And all of that has gotten you to this very moment where we have the opportunity to now turn to the future. And as others have said, today is filled, when thinking about the future, all of that uncertainty, the excitement, the trepidations, the joy. You've been asking yourself, or maybe you have asked yourself or are asking yourself, am I going to be good enough for that middle of the night phone call? I still remember my first day on the wards with my newly minted long white coat, right? I got to ditch the short one. I walked into the workroom, and this third-year medical student looks at me and said, "Oh, are you the new intern?" And I said, "Maybe." And then he said, "Oh, I'm trying to figure out the hepatitis B serologies. Should I order core or surface antigen?" And I was like, I am in big trouble. And I said, "Well, maybe we can look it up together," right? The classic cop-out move for somebody who just doesn't know. And I think I was trying to decide, like, well, what should I tell you in this moment, right? That you are ready. Many of you don't feel like you are. I think you are. I was there your first day of medical school. I'm here with you today. I was there with you as you learned and grew, and I know that you're capable of doing the work. But beyond that, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I've been reflecting on joy. I've been reflecting on joy because my son was born 10 days ago, and last night. I'm very tired and a little emotional. But I spent last night, because he spent last night awake, I spent last night awake, holding him and thinking about the joy that I feel when I hold him. But I also think about not just him, but how he got here. My family, my wife has had the dear privilege of having the same OB, graduated with me in medical school, class of 2008, who was amazing. She was there to help my first son be born, who's 5. She was there to help my daughter who was born, who's 3. And she was there to help my most recent son, who's 10 days old, born just last week. And I saw her as she was there with us for the whole process this last time, and the joy that she felt. Not the same joy that I felt as a dad again, but the joy that she felt to be able to bring my family to completion was incredible. What does it mean to find joy in your work? There is this recent New England Journal article. I have a lot of time, so I'm reading the New England Journal. There's a recent New England Journal article that talked about moral distress and burnout and all the things that you all have had a million lectures and talks and discussions on, and it talked about, wouldn't it be amazing if all of the trainees had an opportunity to work with and be around physicians that could share with them the joy of the profession? And that joy comes from different places. It might be for some of you holding the hand of a child who's lost a family member. The joy might come from being a hospice worker. The joy might come from making a diagnosis. The joy might come from fixing a bone or cutting out something that is infectious or mentoring a learner. That joy can come from any place. But finding that joy in the day-to-day, the small acts of doctoring, those small acts of that public work that you all signed up to do is incredibly important and powerful. There's a quote that I love that says that justice is what love looks like in public. And what better thing to shape our work together as finding ways to have that deep and abiding love and care for ourselves, for our families and our communities and the patients that we care for. And how you do that is going to be up to you in those 2 a.m. moments, in those moments when you might feel uncertain or you feel scared. But those moments continue. I'm a nocturnist. I work at night. I feel alone sometimes. I feel scared sometimes. I feel afraid sometimes. And I've been in practice for over a decade. But I also know how to connect to my family, my community, my peers, my nurses, the people I work with, as well as connect to the day-to-day and small joys and love that I bring every day to the bedside. And it's not easy. You face momentous challenges, whether it's 20-minute appointments, whether it's a medical kind of context that values production over performance. But I think that, James Baldwin says that hope is invented every day, and I think that love is invented every day too. Joy is invented every day, and if we're able to find the moments of joy in those small bits of practice, those are the things that stay with us. I think that the moments that I remember from match day, from intern year, my residency, newly in practice, and today, yes, it is those moments of technical success. But at the end of the day, no one is going to remember the NIH dollars you brought in, that next paper that you wrote, but you will remember the joy that you bring to the work and the practice of caring and loving others in the most public way that we can as physicians. So on this exceptionally joyful day, I want to wish you all a hearty congratulations. The future of medicine isn't just bright, it's here. It is in you all. And I have the full faith in your capacity to bring that joy every day or as often as possible to the work that you're going to be doing in the summer, next year, and for years and generations to come. Thank you.
All right, everyone, one more time for the eloquent words of Dr. Muala. Well, unfortunately, that's all the comedy we had for you today. So this last bit is a little genuine bit from us both. One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite basketball players is, "Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard." So for all of us guys, let's go out there, work hard, but party a little harder on that good weekend off. And if you guys want to keep partying today, let's see you at Sally's right after, and then we'll see you at our apartment downtown in the night. Any final words from you, Nazar?
No, just please reach out to us for the address for tonight, okay? That's all.
So for our last kind of bit of the day before those well-awaited envelopes, our colleagues in Duluth, our mentors, our advisors, who weren't able to make it today, have put together a little video for us to congratulate. And once we're done with that, Rachel Rudine, organizer extraordinaire, who's been with us from the beginning, will take the stage and give us further directions on the envelopes, all right? So pay attention to the video screen, guys, and thank you all for being here today.
Hi, everyone. A quick message from Student Affairs in Duluth. We are so proud of you and so excited for everything that's going to be happening in the future as you move forward in your residency. We know that not all of you, when you open that envelope, are going to be happy with the choice that's in there, but I can tell you those envelopes are all full of people who are waiting for you and are so lucky to have you. So congratulations again. Really enjoy your day today and celebrate. Take care.
Hi everybody, this is Sean in Student Affairs. I just want to congratulate each and every one of you on match day. It's been an honor getting to know each and every one of you. Again, congratulations to all of you. I wish you all the best. Please keep in touch.
Oh, live, Dina.
Hi there, guys. It's Dina Flaherty from Financial Aid on the Duluth campus. You might not recognize me because I had to get glasses. When you go and renew your driver's license and you fail the vision test, that's a problem. Anyway, sure miss you guys, and I'm wishing you all the best. This is an exciting day for you, so congratulations to you all, and stop by and visit us sometime.
Congratulations, class of 2024. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations, fourth years. You're done with this.
Congratulations, class of 2024.
Go. Congratulations for the graduate students of 2024. Welcome.
Congratulations, everyone.
Happy match.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hopefully there's no snowstorms this year and some of us are down there in person to give you hugs and wish you well. But best of luck. Exciting day.
Exciting.
Congratulations, class 2024.
Congratulations, everyone. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations, medical students We're so excited with you on match day and all who are celebrating with you. Congratulations.
Here say I wanted to congratulate you on match day, and I want you to know I wish I could be down there to celebrate with you. I think you're going to find residency to be a wonderful learning experience. I truly enjoyed working with all of you over the past couple years, and if we have an opportunity to work together in the future, I sincerely look forward to it. Have a great day.
Hi, class of 2024. Dr. Fitzeckerly and I are here to say good luck to you guys moving forward.
Yes, best in all of your endeavors. I hope a very happy, long, and beautiful life for you all.
And there's Fleur to say hello too.
And here's...
Guess who we saw walking along? Hey, it's me, Dr. McCarty.
And so we're all three of us wishing you guys a very, very happy match day.
Happy.
Moving forward. And guess who else came along?
Hi, congratulations.
Well, hi there. I'm Dr. Emily Onello, for those of you who don't know me, from the Duluth campus, Department of Family Medicine. And I'm delighted to be part of this video Match Day 2024 with you, beaming in from the Duluth Family Medicine Residency Program, which is a great program with great preceptors. I think it's best to hear it from people who've been in your shoes not so very long ago, University of Minnesota graduates, to tell you how they experienced match and to wish you well.
Michaela Hong, I'm an intern. I matched here last year. I tuned in virtually.
Hi, I'm Peyton Schultz. I'm currently a third year at the Duluth Family Medicine Residency. I was a Duluth student going through what you're going through 3 years ago from my couch at home over COVID years. And here I am about to graduate from residency. You'll be here before you know it. Soak up these last few months of medical school, take all the time off, do all the fun things, because you'll be here to work hard soon. Congratulations.
Hi there, I'm Austin Pickup. I'm a second-year resident. I graduated from the University of Minnesota and came to Duluth, and I was there in person a couple of years back, and I remember my heart just pounding through my head the entire minute. I was sitting there trying to watch videos, and it'll be over soon, and wherever you match, there's going to be a lot more great things in store for you than you can even expect right now, so just hang in there.
Super.
Thank you, guys. Okay, you guys, 3, 2, go.
Don't cut my head off.
Oops.
You got everybody in frame?
I think so.
Okay, we just want to wish everybody a happy match day and congratulations on making it.
Congratulations, everybody. We're really excited for you.
Don't be a stranger in Duluth. We're happy for you.
I want to thank Dr. Stover and the Duluth staff and faculty for putting that together this week, so thank you very much for doing that. We have a couple of extra minutes, and I thought that we could all use a little bit of a calming presence, so I'm going to bring up Dr. Scott Slattery just to say a word or two.
Oh. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you to all of you. I'm really going to just take about a minute or two here. And so I'm going to share with you a story, a thank you, and a hope. I'm going to begin, actually, someone was asking, why do you have a 2022 commencement guide? And the reason is because I had the privilege of being a greeter for the 22 class. And to sort of capture the moment, I wrote some notes on the back of my commencement guide. And the words that came out were stories, stories, and stories, and the word privilege. And so I was really reflecting back on that, and it was accurate. So here is part of my story. 10 years ago today was the first day I entered the medical school community. And I came in, and I had no idea where to go. So being an outsider, I walked over to that wall and stood against the wall. And I just observed. And there was this really nice gentleman next to me who had a British accent, and I kind of leaned over and was sort of chatting with him. And that was my first introduction to Dr. Southern. It was just wonderful. He was exactly the right person to sort of calm my nerves as I watched everyone else be rather nervous around me. So that's my story. My thank you is to you all. I just want to thank you for all the stories that you have shared with me. When I stood as a greeter, every student that came across the stage, all I could think of was, oh, I remember that, I remember that, I remember this, I remember, and what was coming to me were their stories, their background, who they were, why, they became a physician, and it was just such a privilege to be able to experience that. As I look around this room today, I am experiencing the same thing with your class. It has been an absolute privilege to hear your stories and to take those in. The word of hope is that a few decades ago, my wife was a graduate of this medical school, and so I sat in this room as well as we waited for her envelope to open. Now, for us, it was, okay, is it going to be Pittsburgh or is it going to be Seattle? Where are we going to go? What's going to happen to our lives? And so it was just that anticipation, excited, apprehensive, but something was going to change. And what I will tell you is that medical school was a clear chapter in our story, but what happened after this day became another very rich experience. It was the people, it was the opportunities, or the stories that patients will share. And so as a sort of a parting, as you get ready to open your envelopes, I would encourage you to think about stories. They are built on the experiences like this. It's about the people, it's the moment. It's really sort of taking in your experiences here and now. Your patients are going to share so many rich stories. And much like you all helped me to come from the side and become part of this community through your stories, you are going to become a part of the stories and of other people. So I just want to wish you all the best in writing the next chapter in your story, and ho.
Thank you, Dr. Slattery. My name is Rachel Rudine. I realized I didn't introduce myself. I'm one of the coordinators for this event. And I want to just once again thank our speakers and Jiva and Nazar. That is not an easy job, so thank you. I've been planning this event since 2018, and dare I say, the best it's gone. So well done. And especially when I say, when we meet together to prepare for this, and I say, you may have 15 minutes, you may have 5, so good luck. So very nicely done. I also want to thank our sponsor of this event, M Health Fairview, for putting us up with a nice breakfast and being part of the reason that we're able to gather here today. So thank you. And then, of course, our alumni office and Minnesota Medical Association, too, for joining us here today. I have some notes because I'm going to give you instructions for gathering your envelopes. So I want you to know that we've got time. We've got 6 minutes. And what I would like you to do is, if you'd note this back corner, envelopes for last names A through J are available. And so what you'll do is students will calmly get up all at once. You don't have to rush. Your envelopes are all laid out, pick it up, and come back to your seat. And then K through Z last names are behind us here. Once you've grabbed your envelope, you'll see staff before you come back to your table with the signs for you to write I matched at, and you have Sharpies at your table. So again, we're going to calmly do it, and please don't open your envelope yet. We will instruct you to do that. So everyone, all the students may please head that way and head back to your seats. Hi. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. You guys good? Oh, I think, oh yeah. I think Dr. Chipman will use it, so if you can take it back, that'd be great. Thank you, great job. Hey. Yeah. Oops. Again, if you can head back to your seats as soon as you've got your envelope and your sign, so that I have a good sense of if we're ready to go. Okay, as you're sitting back down, I am going to turn the mic over to our Senior Associate Dean of Undergraduate Medical Education, who is going to count down with you and give you the cue to open your envelopes, Dr. Jeff Chipman.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you. Apparently, I'm one of those doctors with an ego since I'm a general surgeon. When people ask me what I do at parties, I say I'm an acute care surgeon, and they say, "What is that?" And I say, "Well, I do trauma, emergency general surgery, and critical care." And then they say, "What's the grossest thing you've ever seen?" And then I can't get away from them. I'm sure you're all going to be very thrilled with your matches in general surgery today. I understand the NRMP had a problem, and every match program or every match was to general surgery. So I'm sure you'll all be very happy with that. Please, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is make sure that you give thanks to your support network, your family and friends and loved ones, those who are here and who supported you through this process. I am reminded that it was 29 years ago today that I matched in general surgery. My wife was in the hospital having delivered our first baby that morning. I walked back to see her and greet her in the room with my match, and my mother-in-law was sitting there holding the baby. The sun was pouring in, and I said, "We're going to Arizona." And my wife burst into tears, and my mother-in-law clapped because she was from Arizona. The bottom line is, whatever happens today, there are lots of doors to be opened. I never would have imagined that I would be where I am today at the University of Minnesota as a professor of surgery and serving as your dean. So don't worry, there's lots of opportunities. And it looks like there's 15 seconds before you can open your envelopes. And now there's 10. It's sort of like waiting for the operating room to turn over at the university hospital. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and open them.
Can you take a photo of it? What's... Make sure you get my
Oh man, you're you made it a long way. Oh, nice, awesome.
Sorry. 1 second.
I'm doing a sync right now. Actually, you were in sync. Oh, yeah, you're up there, right? Yeah, it's good. It's good. How's it feel? Yeah, we're going home at like 10, 11. Oh, are you? Yeah, international rotation, and then I'm doing. Congratulations. Yeah, I was Argentina. Yeah, that was so nice. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Damn, you need to put some good on for that. What next? Thank you. Oh, yeah. That's right. They're like the whole like economy is like that. There you go, man. That's awesome. Is that close in here? Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, you celebrate. Okay. Daniel. Okay, come up here. Whole body? Whole body? No,
Don't let me.
Sorry, just one quick flow, and then we're done. I promise. Thank you.
She's the president of our class.
Does it work? Can you hear me? Could everyone from Duluth come up here? Duluth students? Duluth? Come up, come up.
Tall enough to be back here. Zach, front and center, right?
Chris, congrats. I saw yours from afar.
Oh, did you?
Yep. What about you? St. John.
I know how we do that. I heard you at Regions, right?
Yep. Regions.
Nice. W.
Yep. We'll be close. Oh, there's no chance I can.
We're missing some. Sorry, Zach. I need to be as tall as you.
Can I go on your shoulders?
Can all the Duluth people come up to the stage, please? Thank you.
you.